Hello everyone, Zeno here. Here to bring the movie of What If Lupin Shimura Betrayed and became the leader of the DJD. Link down description of the fanfiction of this What If. Listen here YouTube. I do not own anything and this is not a scam. The fury of vengeance. Betrayal always came in many ways for people who false accuse those for crimes that they haven't even committed. Even some idiots would believe in false information to cover up the truth. This world was always filled with idiotic bastards. It would not even speak the truth. And for who I am Lupin Shimura, also known as Tarn, the leader of the Decepticon Justice Division, to show this world to judgment for their sins. I want revenge, 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 for their sins. Injustice. I had enough of this. All my life I wanted to be nothing more than a hero. But I realized that was nothing more than a lie. Functional fucking shitheads WHO call themselves heroes, but in the end are nothing more than just a bunch of fucking shitheads. Inside of a cell of a common jail, a man with crimson red eyes, charcoal black hair, buff with scars among with the Decepticon logo, especially the scar on his face. This man was known as Lupin Shimura, also known as Tarn, a liberator. Lupin felt nothing more than uncontrollable rage, betrayal and vengeance upon those that wronged him and betrayed him. Lupin remembered the time that he was ready to be assigned to go to UA when the moment he was falsely accused of a crime. He could never believe it, and everyone that turned their backs on him for something he didn't do, even the number one here that he looked up to, which shattered his heart. That's pain that Lupin never forgotten, the pain of bullying. The pain of being betrayed. The pain of no one believing him. The pain of corruption of this world. Lupin felt hate for the people of quirks, hate for the people that's called themselves heroes. Hate for discrimination for the quirkless. I was quirkless, but now I really might actually have a power within me that will be unlocked sooner or later to destroy this damn society of heroes will be burned the ground. Lupin did not say a word, just continued looking on the floor waiting to be let out. Until two guards came directly towards him. Guard number 1. Hey kid, you're free to go. Lupin. Finally, I was getting tired of this place anyway. Guard number 2. Look kid, we're sorry. Lupin. Sorry, isn't going to cut it for me. I've lost interest of heroes. The two guards looked at him and with disbelief looks at him that he had lost interest in heroes. Lupin stopped midway when the moment you saw All Might standing right in front of him. All Might. Young man, Lupin raged. Can it? You clown, I'm done hearing your lame ass excuse. All Might. Even the two guards and prisoners heard that he said with rage. All Might. Look, I just made a mistake. All Might try to say another word only for everyone to get choked by killer intention with an uncontrollable rage, which murder intention coming from Lupin. Lupin raged. A mistake, a mistake, a mistake. You really are such a fucking idiot. Exclamation mark. WHO doesn't deserve to be called the number one hero. Exclamation mark. You useless piece of shit. I should have never looked at some fuckhead like you that called themselves hero. You never believed in me. Even though I was framed for a crime that I didn't even commit. And yet you came with evidence. That's because guess what, all those times I looked up to you meant nothing to you. Because you were dead to me in my heart. And for applying for UA. Throw my application in a trash for I give a damn. Because I gave enough on becoming a hero. All Might felt nothing more but guilt and sadness, looking down on the floor with guilt. Even the prisoners and guards felt nothing more but guilt and sympathy, but they can't unwind what they did. Lupin was about to walk out. He saw a group of individuals from his class at Albion High. Lupin looked at all of them with an uncontrollable hate and vengeance, with murder intention in the air, enough for everyone to suffocate. Lupin noticed one of them that made his blood boil to the core, that made felt nothing more but vengeance. Baguko looked directly at Lupin and then looked back at the ground with guilt for not even defending him. Lupin raged. What the hell do you think you bastards are doing here? Baguko and everyone else, including the teacher, principal, staff, were completely shocked by Lupin's change of attitude. Baguko. Look, I want to say Lupin, that's an angry beyond belief, and rushing directly at Baguko ready to punch him, only for him to yell. Lupin raged. Baguko. Lupin only landing a punch directly at Baguko's face, getting everyone off guard, complete shock. Lupin didn't stop there. He continued punching the explosive bastard that made his life a living hell, especially for not even believing in him, continuously beating him down senselessly. All Might among what everyone else, especially the prisoners, watched this fight between the people who called themselves friends. Bagyuko didn't say anything and continued taking the beat down so that he deserved it, Lupin delivering the final blow, punching him so far only for blood to be splattered and for him to be on the floor. Bagyuko was completely on the floor, bloodied, beaten up almost to near death itself. Bagyuko had a little bit of strength to look directly at Lupin to see the anger, vengeance within his eyes before passing out. All Might didn't say a word and looked it in fear directly at Lupin, directly in his eyes, that he felt that he created a monster. Lupin, psychotic. Just see what you have done to me. Twisted me, tortured me, to the breaking point. The students did not say a word. They felt when the moment they stared directly at his eyes they saw not a hero nor a villain, but someone who wanted to destroy both sides. Lupin didn't say a word to no one and continued walking out of the prison, leaving everyone completely shocked and afraid of him for what he became. Lupin had other plans for this so-called society of fake heroes, to watch this hero society burn to the ground for nothing more, nothing less. Laying low. Sometime later, Lupin kept himself in the shadows. When the moment he was revealed to the innocent, many people tried finding it, however he disappeared. Lupin can't really give a damn for the shitty excuse of apologize. It was raining in the evening, many citizens saw a man with a mask walking, where heroes were until they were found dead. Many citizens to believe another hero killer or perhaps someone that wanted revenge, but they didn't know it was Lupin. Lupin in his new liberator attire walked down the streets, where there were few citizens in the rain, kept his head down in the ground. Lupin stopped only for rain to continue pouring everywhere. Lupin locked down with anger and wanted revenge. Lupin in mind. Those damn bastards do not know anything. The last set in my sights on heroes that only care about money and fame, don't care for the safety of others. It's really made me sick that this so-called system, so sorry if heroes is nothing more than some ruse. Nothing but false ideals and lies. Lupin kept on reminding himself of those memories he had when he was worthless, kept on being bullied by everyone, especially by the number one hero that crushed his dream. Lupin in mind with raged, enough. I'm tired with that so-called idiotic pipe dream of becoming a hero. It's time to take on a different role of becoming this world savior from the corruption. This time I become a liberator. To let this pathetic worthless maggots know their place. It's time for the Decepticon Justice Division to rise. Lupin realized one thing. How did he know about the Decepticon Justice Division? But then he remembered that he had the memories of their leader. Lupin was thinking about finding the other members of the Decepticon Justice Division. Until he heard a familiar voice saying something like this. Hey you. Lupin looked at the direction of the source of the voice to see two people he did not want to see. And the two people were Death Arms and Kamui Woods walking towards Lupin. Lupin tried to walk away only for Death Arms grabbed him by the arm tightly. Lupin annoyed. The fuck you went? Death Arms. Listen punk. There's some people that are worried about you. Lupin raged. Like I even care for them. Because they can go burn in hell. Kamui Woods. I know that's you haven't been on the best term with us after you were framed. Lupin raged. Oh really, Wood boy. Lupin yelling got the attention of the bystanders looking on what was going on. Lupin in mind. God damn. It right now I should get going, but since I can't. Death Arms started dragging Lupin by the arm to somewhere. Lupin coldly. Where the hell are you taking me? Death Arms. Where the principal wants to see you. Lupin coldly and annoyed. As if I care. Already keeping up on becoming a hero, so let go of me right now or else I could do it by force. Death Arms. You do not want to mess with a pro such as myself. Lupin raged. Oh really, because I'm fed up with this damn society of heroes. Lupin caused red electricity coming out from his hands, giving off a bit of injury towards Death Arms. Lupin was completely shocked and looked at his hands, see it was charged up with energy. Lupin whispered, is this my quirk? So it seems it already has been unlocked. Asterisk. The bystanders were even shocked as well for someone to actually take down one of the pros. Lupin. It was self-defense. Bystanders male. Okay, that does make a lot of sense. Kamui Woods. Okay, that really took me off guard. But still, for hurting my teammate I still need to take you into UA. Lupin raged. Well guess what, Wood boy, how about shove it up your ass? I'm not going to UA. Lupin could say another word, he got slapped in the face, make him drop his mask by Kamui Woods. Lupin slowly turned his head directly at Kamui Woods, only for Lupin to have a bit of a psychotic and murderous intention for him to slowly pick up the mask. Lupin psychotic. Oh, you really have gone and done it now. It's time to pay with your life. Lupin rushes towards Kamui Woods like a beast, continuously brutally beating him in many different ways in front of everyone. Lupin didn't stop showing any mercy, the pro-hero continuously beating him down, almost his ribs, spines and arms, every part was nearly broken. Lupin continued with the final beatdown, only for him to throw Kamui Woods directly at a car that almost hit him. Lupin was really about to leave until Death Arms punched him in the back, and he was really pissed off and started beating Lupin. Death Arms pissed. You damn bastard, you really have gone too far. Lupin psychotic. Oh really, because you call yourself heroes for framing it instant man for a crime he don't commit. And yet I felt betrayal by this whole society. That needs to fall. 'Cause I'm no hero or villain. I'm a liberator that needs to eliminate both sides to bring peace to the world itself. When the moment Lupin said he was framed for a crime you didn't commit, that got everyone's attention, including several news reporters as well. Death Arms pissed. And why won't I end you myself, you piece of shit. Death Arms kicked Lupin in the guts, causing him to fell unconscious. Death Arms pissed. That damn punk got me fired up. Probably people like you deserve to die. Kamui Woods got back up to his senses and saw the scene in front of him. Kamui Woods, was it really necessary for you to actually do that? Death Arms, does it look like I give a damn for this punk after what he just pulled? Kamui Woods, I know what you're saying, but still that doesn't give us the right to hurt someone like him. Death Arms, so what, he hurt me first, so it's time that he get what he deserved by getting rid of him. Kamui Woods, our orders were meant to take him to UA for Principal Nezuyu to talk to him. Death Arms, well guess what screwed thing I do n. Death Arms barely could say another word until he got stabbed in the chest by a sword. Kamui Woods, among with everyone else, saw this unknown newcomer was some humanoid samurai robot. Kamui Woods, who the hell are you and why did you kill him? The samurai robot did not reply. Kamui Woods, find it seems you really want to have a death sentence, then so be it. Kamui Woods used his wooden powers directly at the samurai robot, only for it to cut down every single one of the wooden tendrils that were coming there at a fast pace. Samurai robot, you're pathetic. Kamui Woods, disrespect a pro such as myself to call me pathetic. Samurai robot, probably, because you don't have your full potential. Kamui Woods, why ow. The samurai robot cut Kamui Woods in half without any mercy or emotions coming from within his eyes. The samurai robot walks towards Lupin unconsciously and picked him up, transformed into attack, and drove off. Everyone was completely shocked and stunned on what exactly just happened, and many were questioning about the hero's society for innocent man to actually refrain for crime he did not commit. Unleash my vengeance. At an unknown location somewhere in the abandoned warehouse. Lupin was on the bed, still knocked out from Death Arms' beat down. Lupin slowly gotten up, still a bit of pain, but managed to walk it off. Lupin, oh every part of my body hurts, where the hell am I? Lupin noticed that he was in an abandoned warehouse and remembered his beatdown he gotten from Death Arms. Lupin, alright, I remember, I got my beaten up by that so-called muscle-head buffoon. So it seems, you're finally awake. Lupin turned around to see someone in the shadows, not even trust the first if it could have been a hero or villain. Lupin, who are you? Another hero or villain? I am neither. Someone that saved you from the so-called fake heroes. Lupin, then care to step out of the shadow so I can see who or what are you? Of course, where are my matters, I'm Drift. Drift walked out of shadow only for him to be revealed for Lupin. See that you look like a humanoid robot with a unique insignia on it. Lupin stared directly at the Decepticon logo and start getting headache of flashbacks of Cybertron and Tarn conquering it alongside his fellow companions. Lupin, I'm really not going to get used to this with all the memories, it hurts a lot. Drift to Lupin, of course you're not going to get used to it at some time. Lupin to Drift, seeing that you are my associate and companion. It seems I have nothing less to lose. But for time being I'm going to need to train and gain more recruits, the two of us against this whole injustice world isn't enough. Drift to Lupin, Good, because there are some on this planet that are hiding, but I communicated them right now. As well, you're going to need to train a lot to gain your power. Lupin to drift. Hi sensei. Over the course of time, Lupin to master his powers more to gain more comrades from Decepticon ranks to join his new faction called the Decepticon Justice Division. Back at UA, Principal Nezu saw nothing more than complete other crimes that been happening for the course of time thanks to the new faction called the Decepticons Justice Division, killing every single 5 fake hero and releasing the evidence into the public for everyone to see and executing the fake heroes in front of everyone. Nezu felt the situation was a lot of grim than before with this faction called Decepticons Justice Division by leader known as Lupin Shimura, who was betrayed, taking his revenge out on anyone showing his vengeances to every fake hero and the villain kills with his own hands. Nezu saw some of the most gruesome and brutal deaths, that's of the corpses of heroes and villains. He felt like he and society created a monster that will destroy the society to the ground and create a new one with an iron fist. With Lupin and the other members of the Decepticon Justice Division. Decepticon Justice Division made a lot of impact across the world, not just Japan, but every countries across the planet. Japan's streets were littered with corpses of heroes and villains in brutal, gruesome ways. So many people were horrified and traumatized by this through some events of barbarics. Too many others were thinking of not becoming hero, they were going to end up in the early grave by the Decepticon Justice Division. Seen a crime have decreased even less than before, so that's something that not even heroes content. So many people were happy that the Decepticon Justice Division were taking matters into your own hands, unlike the heroes. Decepticon Justice Division were not just also taking care of criminal villains, they're also taking care of terrorism across different countries, including exploiting some of the heroes to public their crimes committed behind the public eye. How many people were enraged by the heroes that they've decided they could trust, happy had done nothing more, but betrayed their trust by doing criminal stuff behind their back. Lupin was sitting on the chair of Decepticon insignia on enjoying people turning against the heroes, losing their trust in them. Lupin, ha ha ha, isn't this rather entertainment? People desire to become heroes fall to the ground. Helix, I agree, seeing that you take all the good credit. Lupin, there's no need to praise me. I didn't have to do this by myself and I needed to help all of you. Backbite, I agree, seeing that the hero society will fall. Sawtooth, singing I'm hungry but for some hero and villain meat. Jasi, I agree, so I'm a bit hungry for some meat as well. Sharkticon number 1, same here, so we're all hungry as well for something to crunch into a million pieces with our teeth. Sharkticon number 3, yeah, because I'm about to go full on berserk mode. Sharkticon number 2, yeah, when do we even get to have some lunch or grub for once? Lupin, enough. Many of the Sharkticons to their in fear by the boss. Lupin, we have to continue moving on to our next objective of the plan. Drift, I agree, what exactly is this next call plan about yours? Lupin, we're going to America, seeing that there is a cocky blue hedgehog. Most of the Decepticon Justice Division knew about this blue hedgehog, his name is Sonic the Hedgehog. Boss, Synergy is nothing more but an arrogant, cocky hero that only cared for his own greed. Lupin, I agree, it's time to get ready to go to America. Helix, and I'm guessing that there's a powerful hero there. Lupin, that's right, we're going to take out the blue blur of America and every hero that stands in his way will be executed. Backbite, finally we get to have some lunch by eating those pathetic heroes. Sawtooth, you always do eat more compared to the rest of us. Jasi, yes, it's finally time for him to witness their screams of agony and fear. Lupin, okay gentlemen, America we go. Lupin and the rest of the Decepticon Justice Division were heading to America to kill the blue blur. Death to the blue blur. After the chaos that happened in Japan, Decepticon Justice Division moved to America to get rid of a blue rodent. The Decepticon Justice Division continued to hunt down fake heroes even in America. So many of the fake heroes of America gotten tortured brutally without any mercy by the Decepticon Justice Division. Lupin, known as Tarn, showed evidence of the fake heroes of the crimes that they committed behind the public back. So many citizens started to question the heroes themselves about if they were actually doing this for themselves and not for the safety of the citizens. Lupin, Tran couldn't help but laugh and finally could get some supporters. Many of the other Decepticon Justice Division members continued hunting down heroes and villains. Many of the citizens supported the Decepticon Justice Division. However, some consider them as Decepticon Justice Division as they were criminals, assassins, terrorists. Especially a blue hedgehog among with his friends disagree by the methods of the Decepticon Justice Division. Somewhere in Ohio that was actually a crime spot for so many criminals wandering around. The Decepticon Justice Division hunted and didn't show any mercy to the criminals, left their corpses for those who dare act arrogant and idiotic for him to be challenged. That Decepticon Justice Division, or DJD. Lupin Tran was on top of the building on Ohio looking down at the chaos. Lupin Tran, look at what I'm doing a favor for the world, for humanity itself. Nah, well now I was expecting more, but seeing at the meat of tears doesn't taste any better. Backbite. I would agree, but still at least I feel full from our meal. Jasi, I agree, but I'm still saving room for a certain rodent so I can enjoy ripping and devouring his meat and flesh. Lupin Tran got to communication on his from one of his Decepticon members. Lupin Tran com, what is it? Sharktacon number 1 com, it seems we have ourselves a little bit of a problem. Sharktacon number 2 com, something fast and blue is heading our way. Sharktacon number 3 com, it might as well be the blue blur, do you want us to take care of him? Lupin Tran com, no, do not take care of him, you can take care of his friends, but leave the leader for me so that you can enjoy his meal with his meat freshly grilled. Sharktacon number 4 com, that is a delicious reward I will gladly take. The communications ended. Lupin Tran looked down from the roof of the building to see Sonic and his friends Tails, Knuckles and Amy with him. Lupin Tran had a sinister plan to break the blue blur mentally by killing the closest friends he got in front of him. Sonic ran directly towards Sharktakons, however his bin dash and direct hits did not do a dent on them. The Sharktakons laughed and snarled at the blue blur. Sonic, okay, it seems you're not typical robots from Robotnik. Sharktacon number 1, that is because we're not created by Eggman. Sharktacon number 2, not to mention we devoured that obese scientist, and enjoyed ripping the flesh and blood. Sharktacon number 3, it's real funny, isn't it? The blue blur protect the people, but instead couldn't do anything the opposite. Sonic was completely taken off guard by the Sharktakons killed Eggman without any mercy, especially Sonic and his friends were shocked. Knuckles, then prepare for a knuckle sandwich. However, one of the Decepticon Justice Division members known as Helix, Tesserus and Striker were in front of Knuckles, Tails and Amy. Helix, then perhaps you ought to get past us. Tesserus, I agree, you felt the animals lots of past either if you would be dead or alive. Striker, then perhaps to get obliterated. Sonic, guys. Knuckles, don't worry about us, we'll take care of these mechanical freaks. Tails, yes Sonic, don't worry, take care of the leader. Amy, you go get him. Lupin Tran arm came out of nowhere, grabbed Sonic by the head, throw his brutally against the building. Knuckles, Tails and Amy shocked and horrified see the leader actually came and did the first strike on Sonic. Lupin Tran, then you should be careful for what you wish for. Sonic, so I'm guessing you must be the leader. Lupin Tran, that's right, I am Tran, leader of the Decepticon Justice Division to bring order to disrupted world. Sonic, like I believe any of that crap you're say. Lupin Tran, you think you act like you know what you're doing. But instead you're just ignorant, thinking that's you can change this corrupted world, but the only thing I see you is nothing more but a complete fool. Sonic was getting irritated by Lupin Tran in ignorance. Fool, spin dashes to Lupin Tran, only for Lupin Tran electrocuting Sonic. Lupin Tran grabbed Sonic and threw him against the wall, making cough out blood and saliva. Lupin Tran, ha 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 ha. Pathetic. Is this really what the blue blur really taught? Sonic, I have to admit you really are strong. Lupin Tran, you really are arrogant and cocky. That's the problem, you're no hero, you are just inferior. Sonic, well look who's talking, you're nothing more, but have the blood of villains and heroes. Lupin Tran, heroes that become nothing more but selfish pricks, who only care for themselves and not for the safety of the citizens, and that is why liberation forces have to remove heroes and villains. Sonic, well that is some stupid ideal. Lupin Tran, well that's the problem, you never understood others. I bet you took your friends for granted. Sonic, That is enough. Lupin, Tran. Why? Because I'm telling the truth. 'Cause you couldn't be honest to yourself. Sonic. You have no idea what the hell are you talking about. Lupin, Tran. Oh really? Because certainly seems you can't be honest with yourself. Copes with the reality that you put your friend in danger multiple times, because you just can't admit to your failures. However, that really made Sonic snapped within him and charged directly at Lupin, Tran, which rage punching, trying to kick him only for the Decepticon Justice Division leader to dodge and block attack. Sonic in mind, how could he be this powerful to dodge every single one of my attacks, as if he could read my mind? Lupin, Tran grabbed Sonic from his head and dragged him, breaking through every building, making damage even more until he punched so hard, breaking his rib cage. The other members of the Decepticon Justice Division were having fun by killing off Sonic's friends. Helix broken Knuckles' arms and rib cage, leaving on the floor of a bloody mess. Tesserus ripped off Tails' two tails and then started to beat him to a bloody pulp. Strika continued firing her weapon of arsenals directly at Amy, making her unable to move, and then ripped her heart out, giving her dead on the floor. Back with the fight with Lupin, Tran and Sonic. The blue blur was completely on his knees, bloody and messed up. Lupin, Tran. Look at you, pathetic, on the ground, defeated. Sonic. No, I can't be defeated. Lupin, Tran. Look around you. You have failed yourself. You have failed your friends and now they're dead. Sonic. No, that can't be. Lupin, Tran. Oh really? Didn't look over there. Sonic turned around to see what Lupin, Tran. To Sonic's horror and shock to see his friends on the ground, bloodied and brutally beaten up. However, what shocked and breaks Sonic's heart was Amy was dead. Lupin, Tran. Isn't it fun to see your own friends broken? Sonic. Damn you. Sonic charges directly at Lupin, Tran, what is blind and rage only for his fusion cannon to fight directly at Sonic's chest, killing him permanently. Sonic's body went limp on the ground, making Lupin, Tran, with a smile on his face to see the blue blur fall by his hands, unlike that fat obese scientist. Lupin, Tran. You have fallen, blue blur. I have to admit you really took down the pathetic blue blur. Lupin, Tran turned around to see Tenrek and Fox in front of him. Lupin, Tran. And who might you be? Surge. I'm Surge the Tenrek, and also want to join the organization. Fiona. I'm Fiona the Fox, also here to join the organization as well. Lupin, Tran. That surprised him for someone to join his organization, which gave him a smile for once. Lupin, Tran. Well, I do need a lot of support and people who have talents and skills by division. Surge. We will not fail you, boss. Fiona. After all, we'll enjoy cheering toes who get in our way for a new world order. Lupin, Tran. Good. You two shared my ideals for new world order. Surge. So now what? Lupin, Tran. Time to go back to Japan and cause more chaos. Lupin, Tran, amongst the new members of his Decepticon Justice Division, went back to Japan to cause more chaos and destruction, bring down Hero Society. Rising an army. After destruction, chaos and the death of the blue blur and his friends. Lupin, Tran, alongside the rest of his Decepticon Justice Division group, head back to Japan to cause chaos and destruction. Lupin, Tran was able to take down every villains and heroes down in the corner of city blocks, especially alleyways. Lupin, Tran realized that he needed an army, seeing it a small group wouldn't be enough. Shrapnel. It seems you have something on your mind, boss. Lupin, Tran. I agree, a small group like ours isn't enough to take down an armada of villains and heroes. Boss. You're right about that. Jetstorm. You're right, a small group isn't enough for us to actually. Small group like I can take on the whole world. Drift. I agree, we should not be reckless. Repugnance. Meaning that the other Transformers on this planet. Thrust. I agree, there has been some that have been offline. Lupin, Tran. Do you really think that there could be a whole armada somewhere on this planet? Shrapnel. You're right, there is a lot of Cybertronians in their stasis pods. Surge. Well, that's funny, some good news for us to fuck up some heroes. Fiona. So do you have the location where they are? Boss. Before we recruited you, became the leader of the Decepticon Justice Division, there have been a lot of other Cybertronians on the planet that have been on their cryostasis pod for some time. Jetstorm. Meaning that their ship or the Titan is actually shut down somewhere in the mountains of Japan. Lupin, Tran. Goodly. Allow Japan and the rest of the world of Hero Society and villains to fear my army of the Decepticon Justice Division. Bludgeon. Good, let us begin with Decepticon kind of empire to rise. Lupin, Tran. Good, because I want you to find any type of energy source to resurrect the Decepticon army for the empire to rise. It is time for the Age of Heroes to fall to the ground. Decepticon Justice Division. Yes, my lord. As the Decepticon Justice Division set out to find the energy source, they encountered many obstacles along the way. They had to fight off various villains and heroes who tried to stop them from achieving their goal. But with their combined strength and determination, they were able to overcome all challenges. Finally, they found what they were looking for, a powerful energy source that could bring the Decepticon army back to life. With great care, they harnessed the energy and used it to revive the fallen Decepticons. Lupin, Tran, alongside his cronies of members of the Decepticon Justice Division, found the ultimate power source to resurrect the Decepticon army, a dark version of the Allspark. A few seconds in underground base, Lupin, Tran was standing on the throne, and in front of him was an army of a new Decepticon forces known as Decepticlone. Decepticlone. Light Unit, Medium Unit, Heavy Unit, Command Unit, Guerrilla Unit, Rollarm Unit, Spider Tank, Aero Drones, Copter Drones, Chase Model Drones, Blast Charge, Jet Laser, Jet Sniper, Artillery Unit, Sentry Drone, Turret, Dropship. As the Decepticlones stood at attention, Lupin, Tran addressed them. My loyal Decepticlones, the time has come for us to rise up and take over this world. We will no longer be oppressed by the heroes and their allies. With our combined strength, we will crush them and establish a new order. Lupin, Tran. But perhaps it's time to crush both sides, the heroes and the villains. It is time for Earth to realize that the new era of the Decepticons to rise. That we are the symbol of liberation. As the Decepticlones cheered, Lupin, Tran knew that he had finally achieved his goal. He had created an army that would be unstoppable, and he would use it to conquer the world. Lupin, Tran. But seeing that we have gained the citizens' attention, me and my crew were able to get the citizens on our side to show these bastard heroes what happens when they look down on the weak. Many Decepticons went into the dropships flying out of the secret base, going to some parts of the world, such as parts of the United States, part in Europe, parts in Africa and Asia. Lupin, Tran in mind. Let's see how it feels, my former bully, is see how it feels that I took away something that you took away from me. Lupin, Tran turned his throne to the monitors while also holding the king chess piece on his hand with a dark smile on his face. Lupin, Tran. Let the games begin. As the Decepticlones began their attack on the world, the heroes and villains alike were caught off guard. In some vault, one Decepticlone-like unit found some kind of glowing crystal having a dark energy for within it. Decepticlone-like unit number 1 comms, Lord Tarn. We have found some kind of energy source coming from a crystal that it could actually lead to some kind of energon source. Lupin, Tran comms. I am rather intrigued by the shard of the crystal that's emanating some kind of energy sign, can actually be Cybertronian. Decepticlone-like unit number 1 comms. We don't know how the hell these insects got their hands on it. Lupin, Tran comms. Bring it back to base immediately for analyzation. Decepticlone-like unit number 1 comms. Yes, sir. Decepticlone-like unit number 1 having the crystal transformed into a jet flying towards the secret base. Lupin, Tran to Decepticlone-like unit number 1. Reports on your findings. Decepticlone-like unit number 1. My lord, I have found this crystal known as dark energy. Lupin, Tran optics widened when the moment he heard word dark energon, the blood of Unicron. Lupin, Tran to Decepticlone-like unit number 1. Did you say dark energon? Decepticlone-like unit number 1. Yes, my lord, I have found out that the so-called heroes and villains did not even know about the dark energon. As Lupin, Tran held the crystal in his hand, he couldn't believe his luck. Dark energon was the most powerful substance in the universe, and now he had access to it. He knew that with this newfound power, he could finally take control of the world and defeat the heroes once and for all. Lupin, Tran. This is the power we need to crush the heroes and villains alike. With this, we will be unstoppable. The Decepticlones cheered, excited about the prospect of gaining even more power. Lupin, Tran knew that he had to be careful with the dark energon, however. It was notorious for corrupting those who used it, and he didn't want to fall victim to its influence. The end of Heroes Society. At Mustafu, Japan, many riots were happening against the heroes about the civilians thinking as the heroes were nothing more but scumbags, bunch of liars, symbols of hypocrisy. Nezu watching the news could help but felt that things are slowly turning for worse. Nezu is a dark day for hero society itself. All we did was betrayed an innocent person for something he hasn't done wrong, and now we have created a monster and it's destroying heroes society itself from within. Shota Aizawa, you're not the only one. Everyone else is feeling guilty as well. Present Mike, get this right. Things are really turning south for all of us. Another explosion happening in the city of Mustafa that was caused by another riot of civilians. As a Decepticon worship was hovering above the city of Japan, many of its laser cannons firing upon many of the pro-heroes, killing them, while some had the ability to turn them into Decepticons. Drones stripped up their free will. Lupin Tran sitting on the throne of his Decepticon worship known as the Dark Spark. Watching the chaos and riots happening because the civilians were worshipped his methods. Lupin Tran, look at this destruction that useless heroes are doing nothing more but dying like flies. Surge the Tenrek, how about that? I get a week for these useless insects to do nothing. Fiona the Fox, I agree. Let them suffer. Nemesis, it is useless for them to fight against the Decepticon Empire. Lady Nagant, you do not care for the safety and well-beings of people that have out-of-control quirks and weak quirks. It is a real shame. Decepticon army deploying troops immediately kill every hero and villain in sight. The Decepticon drones cheered in delight to kill many of the heroes at fillings without any mercy, making it become a bloodbath. Many Decepticon dropships dropping down Decepticon troops. Decepticlone, 200x light unit, 300x medium unit, 400x heavy unit, 500x command unit, 600x guerrilla unit, 29x rollarm unit, 40x spider tank, 30x arrow drones, 29x copter drones, 29x chase model drones, 20x blast charge, 11x jet laser jet sniper, 49x artillery unit, 390x sentry drone. As the Decepticon army descended upon the city of Mustafu, the heroes and villains were overwhelmed. The pro-heroes that are at the city of Mustafu: All Might, Hound Dog, 13, Vlad King, Gran Torino, Snipe, Edgeshot, Best Genist, Kamui Woods, Mirko, Yukyu, Mount, Lady, Rock Lock, Gang Orca. Many of the pros were completely shocked by the army. Look to Decepticon Empire. As the Decepticon army descended upon the city of Mustafu, the heroes and villains were overwhelmed. The pro-heroes that were present at the city knew that they couldn't hold off the army alone. They needed to regroup and come up with a plan to stop the Decepticon Justice Division. All Might, we need to regroup and come up with a plan. We can't take on the Decepticon army alone. Hound Dog, agreed. We need to call in reinforcements from other cities. 13, but we can't let them know that we're struggling. We need to put up a strong front. Vlad King, we need to find a way to counter their numbers. We can't fight them head on. Gran Torino, we need to use our environment to our advantage. We know this city better than they do. Snipe, good idea. We can set up traps and ambushes to slow them down. Only for the Decepticon worship, Dark Spark activating a powerful being killing off many the pro-heroes, leaving All Might the last one left. All Might, I really have failed everybody in this world, even myself. Lupin Tran, yes you have. All Might looked up to see Lupin Tran at his Cybertronian form jump down, causing the ground to shatter all around it, giving a sinister look, killing the red glowing eyes of the mask. Lupin Tran, and it's all thanks to you All Might, you made me became the monster of what I am now. All Might, look, I am very sorry for. Only for the number one hero of Japan punched in his weak spot and for his face be slammed out completely in the ground, causing him to cough up blood by Lupin Tran at his Cybertronian form. Lupin Tran, angry, I don't need for fucking sympathy. You useless mutt. All Might try to get up only for the leader of this Decepticon Justice Division. Punch him continuously in a brutal way to break his back on his knee, throwing him against the building like a ragdoll. Act finally blasting in the chest with his fusion cannon, end his life for everyone to watch the brutal fight. Lupin Tran, goodbye number one hero. Many of the Decepticons' roads, including the people that were inspired by him saying all hail Tran, Lupin Tran, it is Cybertronian form, lifting the decapitated head of the number on hero for everyone to cheer. As the heroes and villains watched in horror, Lupin Tran stood triumphant over All Might's lifeless body. The Decepticon Justice Division had won the battle, and the heroes were left reeling. The Decepticon army cheered, knowing that they had defeated the strongest hero in the world. Lupin Tran knew that this victory would send a message to the rest of the heroes and villains: they were not to be messed with. Lupin Tran, this is what happens when you cross the Decepticon Justice Division. We will crush anyone who stands in our way. Many of the pro-heroes and villains realized that they are completely royally ucked. The main councilwoman of the Hero Society had no choice but to give in to something Decepticon Justice Division's demands. Lupin Tran killed the councilwoman of the Hero Society while leaking the dark secrets of Hero Society, of the crimes that every hero has committed behind the public's back, which made the people hate the heroes even more, making them realize everything they wanted to do to become heroes was nothing but a lie. Sometime later, use aside, he was created known as the DJD. Many people decide their own futures. While some want to become heroes, they realize it was nothing more but a useless dream. Lupin Tran married to his harem, Serge the Tenrec, Fiona the Fox, Nemesis and Lady Nagant, to have his own kids. Lupin Tran and his harem, Serge the Tenrec, Fiona the Fox, Nemesis, and Lady Nagant, watched as the world crumbled under the Decepticon Justice Division's rule. The people had lost faith in the heroes, and the villains had been crushed under the Decepticon army's might. As Lupin Tran sat on his throne, he couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. He had achieved his goal of taking down the heroes and establishing a new world order. However, he knew that he had to be careful not to let the power go to his head. Lupin Tran, we have achieved our goal, but we must remain vigilant. We cannot let the power corrupt us. Serge the Tenrec, you're right, my lord. We must stay focused on our mission. Fiona the Fox, and we must protect our children. They are the future of the Decepticon Empire. Nemesis, agreed. We must ensure that they grow up to be strong and powerful. Lady Nagant, and we must continue to adapt and evolve. The heroes and villains will not give up easily. Lupin Tran nodded, knowing that his harem was right. The Decepticon Justice Division had won the battle, but the war was far from over. As the years passed, the Decepticon Empire grew stronger. The heroes and villains were forced to go into hiding, and the world was under the Decepticon Justice Division's control. Lupin Tran and his harem watched as their empire flourished, knowing that they had achieved something that no one thought was possible. Lupin Tran, our empire will stand for eternity. We have proven that we are the true rulers of this world. Serge the Tenrec, and we will continue to grow stronger. Fiona the Fox, we will not be stopped. Nemesis, we will crush anyone who stands in our way. Lady Nagant, and we will protect our children, the future of the Decepticon Empire. As Lupin Tran and his harem looked out over their empire, they knew that they had created a legacy that would last for generations to come. The Decepticon Justice Division had risen, and the world would never be the same. And this is the end of the movie of this What If. I hope you guys like it. Don't really leave a comment down below and subscribe to the channel.